Welcome, my name is Balaj and you are seeing here the new Razer Phantom White devices that just came out with all the see-through colors that you can see. Actually not even colors, but we have chroma colors and a see-through design here for these new amazing Razer products. And I know for gamers I usually am sitting outside, but this is where I like to do my unboxings and my videos. But I will of course take these inside to my gaming setup with a Razer laptop and of course my full desktop monitor, and then set up the new Basilisk mouse, the Black Widow 75% keyboard, and a see-through of course Barracuda headset. Even the mouse pad is see-through here with the Firefly V2 Pro. And if you're on the go like I will be the next few days, for example in the train or on the airplane, you can take your smartphone and even use there a see-through handset kind of gaming device like this. The Kishi is well known for that, to be very ergonomic, and I love the previous one. So let's go, let's unbox them all, and I will meet you inside with my setup then. Here everything set up with of course the Razer Chroma software also, and all of these new devices. I'm excited, so let's go. Here I am again with the whole setup of the Phantom White series of Razer, where you can see I have the keyboard, the mouse, the headset, and of course the Kishi cannot be missing here on the table, because I will show an extra feature that this is actually doing not only for your phone but for your desktop or mobile gaming experience. For example with my Razer 16 or Blade 16 that is here on the table. You can see Stellar Blade is running in the background on the 1590 and AMD Ryzen 9 processor, so actually even the mobile game experience is amazing with Razer, and they have enough plugins so I can use all of these devices with the dongles that are included, because there's quite a lot in the box with all of them usually, as you will see in a second. So let's start off with the Basilisk. Here one of the nicest, I think, new products. For 180 bucks we have here the new mouse, which is completely see-through, not in Phantom Green, which is also an existing color choice, so dark green, but here Phantom White, which means it's completely see-through plastic that is not going to be yellow, because now finally, after years and years of development for a lot of companies, they can actually produce these see-through plastics that are not getting yellow from UV light, which I love. So the texture is amazing on the mouse. Of course the Basilisk you will know as the mouse that has really nice DPIs from 400, 800, 1600, 3200 and 6400 that you can switch here with that button or with the extra button in the front. But it has also a polling rate of 35,000. That's why it's called the 35K. You can change between Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz. The Bluetooth adapter, or there is no Bluetooth adapter of course built in. The 2.4 GHz adapter you can carry on the bottom of the mouse and plug in when you will need it, or you can actually exchange here this bottom part also for a wireless charging dock. If you buy the Razer wireless charging dock, you can wireless charge the mouse and you don't have to recharge it every 200-300 hours after gaming, or you can just use the USB-C port on the front for charging. But as I said, you can usually use it for more than a week and you won't have any problems if you would play really 10 days, 24 hours a day, which is crazy. But there is of course a programmable buttons also on the side, forward and backward. You have the infinity wheel that I really love, not only in Razer but also on other mice that I've seen it before. But we have a 4D mouse wheel, and you can change that of course with one click to the regular mouse wheel, which I don't like that much. And that's actually it with the 16 areas of the lights here for the chroma lighting. It looks of course amazing, especially amazing when you combine it with the same lights that you have on your mouse pad, on your keyboard, and everything is really interconnected with the Razer Synaptics app. But of course, if you have a glowing mouse, then you should have a glowing mousepad also. So there's also the Firefly now in Phantom White, which means the whole bottom area is looking amazing. The top area is also see-through white, not green. The Phantom Green has a dark green area on the top, and otherwise, of course, 16 zones where you can change here on the mousepad what colors you would like. I love the going through rainbow design, but that you can also change. And you have USB-C and USB-A ports on the mousepad, the USB-C for the power in, and then the USB-A to plug in one mouse, one keyboard, one headset, or one anything else where you would use the dongle to have it close. So I would recommend probably the mouse, but if you buy the mouse, there is of course also a long cable with it in the mouse in the box, and the little dongle and adapter, so you can use it on the table. If you have a desktop that is a little bit further away, then that is quite nice, obviously. But you can also use that with the mousepad if you would buy that, the Firefly. But I have set it up right now that the keyboard is plugged into the mousepad and everything else is plugged into the laptop itself, where there's one USB-C just going to the monitor, and there's power coming to the laptop itself also. And for example, also my Barracudas are using not Bluetooth right now, but the USB-C dongle that is in the box, and they included C because it actually works with the Nintendo Switch that way, also with the PlayStation, and there is no mention of the Xbox on the box itself, but there is a C to A adapter also, so you can plug it in also anywhere where you have just regular old USB-A. But before we go to the Barracuda, let's check out the keyboard, the Black Widow V475%. I leave the cable plugged in because this is not a Bluetooth keyboard, this is obviously a cable keyboard, which is the only way to game, of course, for every gamer. For the mouse, they're not using it that much because the cable is actually a little bit annoying, because it would pull a little bit and maybe hinder you from the perfect shot. But with keyboards we still have for professionals, they're really just cable keyboards, which is 75% since there's no numlock here on the side. We have all the buttons that are removable. So removable keycaps are really nice, but removable, of course, hot swappable switches are also amazing here. These are the Razer 3rd generation switches, which look great and feel great, but if you want your own, that's easy to change here on this one. As you can see, I just removed it easily here on this video that you can see right now. Obviously here also the colors are all interchangeable for every button. This is the most expensive product here on the table, because not only because it has the most LEDs, but of course the most parts built in. And we have also here the extra buttons for the mute, the volume, and an extra programmable button here on the top. And of course all the features that you would expect from Razer here. When you press the FN button, then you know right away what you can set up here on the front. And there is not much else to say about the keyboard, but it has a nice weight. It's not the heaviest gaming keyboard I had in my hands, but you cannot hear any squishing or cracking when you're using it. You can of course change it from 7 to 12% here for the height. And there's also finally again here the vegan leather wrist rest that is quite soft and nice, and not the hard plastic I've seen before. Sadly, that is Razer sometimes including here with the keyboards, and this is really quite amazingly really comfortable to game on, and also it sounds nice. Listen to this. You can check out all the software features that I'm not mentioning right now, of course, on the Razer website. Everything is linked below in the video, but let's continue first with the Barracuda X Chroma. That is also again Phantom White. Here you can see again with the colors that are right now on, because it's connected to the PC via the dongle. If you're not connected via the dongle, then there's no lights. So if you use it with Bluetooth on your phone somewhere, then there is no lights. But there's a lot of buttons here, which I love, that there's real buttons, no touch, no nonsense like that. On the Barracudas, for example, there is an on and off switch, a microphone mute switch. You have a real volume rocker that you can feel that you're changing the volume, USB-C port with a LED light that is showing us that the device is on, or in Bluetooth mode, for example, then it would be in blue blinking mode. And then there's one button to change from movie mode in the sound sphere to game mode. There is a music mode, of course, also, and an individual mode for changing that. But the last one, the fifth one, is Bluetooth mode, so you can switch around here to that. Also, it's quite soft and nice on the top and on the ears. I was wearing it a few hours already today and yesterday also, and once I put them on, I really feel that everything is muffled around me, so it has nice voice dampening already without having actual voice cancelling inside, because there's no extra microphones built in, except for the one that you can of course plug in. You can take off the spit cover, but I usually leave it on, and then if you plug in the microphone like that, you can see how it looks. And then we can game a little bit here when I go back into the game. Let's kill some monsters. Yeah, and then I will show you the Kishi if you want to do mobile gaming more. No, come on, die. If you want to do mobile gaming more, or you want to use the actual controller on your desktop PC also, because that is something that it also supports. Let me take this off because I cannot hear myself. So this is the Kishi. I already put my 8-inch Android phone with a case on, so they thought about you might have a case on your device. That is no problem. The case could be even thicker and it would have space, but there's also spacers built in with rubber that you can take out quite easily if you have an Android or an iOS phone, and that you can use them without a case, also for, of course, better cooling. So I recommend when you would do hours and hours of gaming, take off the case of your phone, put it inside here, and then it has better cooling and is better for your phone. So that's a little tip from me. And also it has USB-C and a headphone jack here on the Kishi, and the V4 which is V2, which is quite nice, and extra buttons also not only in the back that you can program here. Depending on what game you're playing, that can be handy. You have the trigger buttons on the top, LR1 and LR2, but also on the front there's an extra button for taking screenshots, for going into the Nexus game mode where you can set up all your video recording, for example. Also you can quickly launch apps and games here. Then there is the home button to go home in Android or in iOS, for example, a settings button, and just the regular gaming controller buttons that you would need. And all of these you can use even if you take out your phone and not using this Nexus software, with just plugging it in via USB-C to your computer, and then you can use this as a game controller to game. So you don't need to buy an extra game controller from Razer for anybody else, but you can use this as a real game controller. And obviously it looks a little bit weird because there's this space in the middle, but actually it's quite comfortable, especially if you have a gaming chair or something where you can put your arms down and put everything up. Then this can be really quite comfortable to game with the Kishi. And for $100, that's actually not even a bad price if you think about that. It's a multi-purpose device. It does not have any RGB lights in it. There's exactly one light here that is showing us if it's connected via OTG or via power, actually via USB-C, but that's it. But at least you can see how actually hollow, and there's not too much inside of these products. It's Razer sensors also in here, so there's rumbling obviously in the controller for this price. That cannot be missing. But again, this is the last of the 5 new Phantom White products that Razer introduced end of this year. If you liked any of them, type in the comments which is your favorite. My favorite would be probably the mouse and the keyboard, but also I'm in love with this headset. I will even wear on the street, even though when you use it with Bluetooth there's no LED lights, but that's totally okay since I don't need the lights because I cannot see them if it's on my head anyway. My name is Balázs. This was here tech video. I hope if you liked it that you subscribe to us, and I see you in the comment section or on TikTok and on Instagram also, where I post, of course, also regularly new tech video content from all around the world, even from the CES or Mobile World Congress conventions that are coming up, for example, in 2026 also. My name is Balázs again. See you guys around and have a good one.